There's never too early. There may be too late to start, but never too early. So that's one of the biggest ones I get asked is, when should I start? And I'm always like, now, today. Yeah. Always ask your realtor who they would recommend that you work with and kind of check that person out.
So the buying process, what goes into when to start, how to start, who to get in contact with. This is what we're going to be talking about today. What are the most frequent questions that you usually get from a buyer, or where they come from?
Yeah, so one of the big questions I get is, when should I start the process? Am I starting the process too early? And I always say no. I have people who start the process years ahead of time technically, and that's fine, because we're going to be checking your credit. We're going to be looking at your employment history, the money that you currently have saved. And if there's any of those items that need work, you've got plenty of time to do it. So I tell people there's never too early. There may be too late to start, but never too early. So that's one of the biggest ones I get asked is, when should I start? And I'm always like, now, today.
Yeah. I always say the best time to start is whenever you're ready. It's just like having kids. You're never going to be ready, but you'll get ready. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you don't know what you don't know. So just get in contact with somebody that you trust, somebody that you were referred to, because if it's somebody that's just random, you never know what their situation is or how experienced they are, that if they're even eligible to even help you out. So if you have somebody that reach out to them first, see somebody who have been in the process, ask how their process was, when they felt comfortable, if there was ever a time that they didn't feel comfortable, and go from there.
I think it's also really important to ask your realtor who they recommend for the lending process, because you can definitely go through an online lender or through a random bank or whatever Google tells you, but that lender is not likely in the state that you're purchasing in, so they may not know the taxes, they may not know the insurance implications, they may not know about our HOAs. So always ask your realtor who they would recommend that you work with, and kind of check that person out, see how you feel they're working with you, the personality, what they're able to offer you. A good example are down payment assistance programs. Typically, to be able to use us as a lender, we have to be in that state. So if you're using a lender in another state, there may be programs you qualify for as a first-time home buyer that they unfortunately can't offer.
Right. When people are asking about lenders, I always recommend people who I have used in the past. I have many different preferred lenders that I have used in the past, many that I haven't even used, but just because they are using other people, or they could be using other realtors, or realtors could use other lenders. It's all about who you work with the best. Me and Ashley has had many deals together, and they've all been seamless, stressless, and we're here at the closing table together all the time.
Yeah.
So always get in contact with somebody who you feel comfortable with. Get out there, get to know other people, and you'll do the best you can whenever you have somebody that have your back.
Absolutely. And it's always about getting started. Until we see your numbers, see your credit, see what you have, it's really hard for us to give you the best advice. And we want to make sure that you're looking at homes that you can afford and that fit your budget and that you're going to be super happy with. So that's why you have to talk to your realtor and your lender first to get started.
And we are one of the most important people that will be on your side, because if you're trying to look at something that, based on the numbers and everything that you provided to us, if you want to go see a $600,000 home and we know that you are only approved for $400,000, we're not going to want to waste your time, and we're not going to want to put you in a predicament where you are house poor or whatever the case may be. We want is what's best for you, because we want you to get into your house and that house start building equity, or if it's an investment home, we want that to be the best purchase and you have no buyer's remorse at the end. Today we're going to talk about new construction versus pre-owned. It's a huge question right now. There's a lot of growth in Somerville and the greater Charleston area, and this is one of the most predominant questions, whether it's people relocating from other areas or people that are in homes right now looking to either upgrade or have more space, or kids have left the home and they're looking to downsize. So new construction versus pre-owned, there's always pros and cons to everything.
So what do you tell when you have a buyer where you've shown them some pre-owned homes and now they're looking at new construction as well, and they're asking you, like, what should I do here? Like, I don't know which one is best. What factors do you tell them to look at to help make that decision?
It just all depends on what their family style is like. If they are looking for something, say, for example, their kids are still in the house and there are 3 or 4, maybe 5 cars being shared in that household, the HOA may not be for you unless they have extra parking or overflow parking that is allowed to be used. HOA may not be the situation for you, because if you're parked in the street, you can get towed, you can get fined, and then it's just a hassle all the time. I'm dealing with that in my neighborhood, so a lot of people are mad about that.
And I have no HOA, so no one gets to tell me anything.
Exactly. But there's always pros and cons to everything, because, say you own a home and you're in an HOA, you have to take care of the home, whether it's mowing your grass, whether it's pressure washing your house so there's no mold, whether it's you have to get approval for a particular type of fence. You have to keep the aesthetics in the neighborhood so our values are always maintaining and appreciating. If you go to a neighborhood that has no HOA, you can have broken down cars in the driveway. You can have boats in the driveway. There could be a broken down house that is an investor property, and no one's taking care of it. If you were going to sell your house, would you want that house to be right next to yours? So that is how a HOA would protect your property and your value in a HOA versus a non-HOA environment.
So as far as new construction, obviously everyone thinks like, oh, it must be better because everything's brand new in it. But that may not always be the case. How do you feel about the newness of construction versus a pre-built home?
I mean, of course, it's new, and going into new construction, it all depends on the building manager and your communication with them. If you don't have, or your agent doesn't have communication with the building manager and keeping them up to date in regards to the timeline during the build, or going and getting the inspections to make sure the builder is doing things right, you can have a money pit, that you're walking into thinking that, there's nothing wrong with the new construction house. Everything's going to be new. Yes, that could be the case, but there could be issues with the HVAC. There could be issues with how the floors were put down, whether it's vinyl plank or whether it's hardwood. There could be all different types of issues that a builder is, building all these homes at the same time. There could be issues that has not been, rectified or has not even been seen. So it just all depends on the process and what your realtor is doing for you in the background to make sure that you're walking into a brand new construction home that has no flaws.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's a lot of communication, right? For your buyer, to their realtor, their wants, their needs, what your family needs to help you make the best decision. Thankfully, we have plenty of new construction in Charleston and still plenty of pre-built. So whatever you need, we'll find it for you.
Of course.